check later on this afternoon to see if that was up, so as of noon time, the slots were enough, but I expect it would be.
Yeah, if you work by noon time, they're sure. Well, let's check real quick.
One, two, three, four, five. We have a four, five.
Yeah.
Huh?
Good evening. Welcome to the Lawrence City Council meeting. Today is June 21st, 2022. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid and allowing participation both in person and in the City Council chamber and remotely. It is being broadcast via a Zoom link, and it also can be viewed through the digital platforms such as the Lawrence City Council Facebook page and the Lawrence City Council YouTube page. At this point, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Levy? Absent. Councilor De La Cruz?
Present.
Councilor Payano? Is absent. Council Vice President Estela Reyes? Absent. Councilor Rodriguez? Absent. Councilor Del Rosario?
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes?
Present.
Councilor Infante?
Present.
President LaPlante?
Present. At this point, I will ask you all to rise for a moment of silence. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Council, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of June the 7th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Selena Reyes, seconded by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I'm also now looking for a motion to adopt the meetings from the special meeting of June the 9th, 2022. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Council Selena Reyes, seconded by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. The ayes have it. This time we have public participation. The rules are the same as they always are. You have 2.5 minutes to give your comments. Please give your name and address for the record. Please address the chair. The first person who's up is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this important election year, our city facing an important emergency. Our poor Lawrence Public School cafeteria worker on strike, suffering. Lawrence Public School with budget of more than $230 million. We demand the best contract for Lawrence Public School cafeteria workers now. We demand from Honorable Mayor Brian DePena contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vass, has done an excellent job to protect our citizens. Contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police, this great union of pride and honor, deserve to be declared September 13 each year, the day of the police appreciation. We are united with one voice, say, demand contract for Lawrence Police. Million thanks to our DPW workers. Lawrence is a beautiful city because of the great union of DPW, hard work and sweat. We support their union and leadership. Lawrence Public School, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, one of the best superintendents in the history of Lawrence, moving forward. We demand fair compensation and best contract for Lawrence Public School cafeteria workers. We support our teachers and their union. Remember your campaign promise, prosper Lawrence, save Lawrence, only possible if we have the best contract for Lawrence Police. Lawrence, one city under God. Lawrence Public School cafeteria workers, we feel your pain and your suffering. We demand the best contract where you stand united with the Lawrence Public School cafeteria workers union. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Richard Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name's Dick Russell, live at 34 Cross Street. It's good to see that some of you took time away from the blue pencils and the proposed FY 2023 budget, but that's a discussion that can be taken up in another 48 hours. My major concern tonight is the lack of posting of the daily police logs by the police department. As of 7:05 p.m. today, the last log posted concluded sometimes on the evening of May 2nd of this year. It's a shame that the local daily news has no great desire to report crime in the city. I can see them ignoring minor crimes such as purse snatchings or loud noises, but since when have murders become minor crimes? Encryption of the police radio removed instant crime news, and delaying posting of crime logs further delays and removes from memory any crime news. The only possible source of crime news comes from people who monitor radio transmissions of the fire department and the ambulance dispatches. You do get a clue as to what's happened. That is, if anyone happens to hear those transmissions. I lost a page. I see in the FY 2023 budget, the LPD is receiving almost $162,000 cut in their budget. I wonder if this will affect their publication on their website of the crime logs. Being the cynical individual that I am, I wonder if the suppression of crime reports is a game plan to make Lawrence a more livable community for all those seeking to make their fortune in the creation of affordable housing. Next, please advise those installing the radar signs to fasten them in a manner that they cannot be moved from the position that they're required to do the job. The one on Cross Street, somebody moved it. I won't say how, but it was moved. It's now getting a zero, no, in fact, it isn't getting any speed limit on the stairs to the old General Donovan School across the street from its location. The radar sign worked well while it was functioning. At least the taxi cabs slowed down. I will see all of you Thursday night with some budget cut suggestions. As always, I thank you for the time.
Next speaker is it Rosabelle Colon? Is that right? Did I pronounce the name correctly? Come on up.
Good evening, honors, councils. My name is Rosabelle Colon. My husband and I, we was here last Tuesday. It's for our service. We would like to rally. We want to have in 3 different parks: the Christian King Church, Okay, we would like to have the privilege to have those three services in the three different parts for the community to talk about the gospel and talk about Jesus, the Savior, and that's our. That's the reason we like to have the opportunity to have in the community to talk and to preach the gospel to our community. I live in this city of Lawrence almost 28 years already, and it's a privilege for me to live in this city. I know a lot of people talk bad about the city. I say, I don't know what you guys talking about, because I live here for 28 years, and I think nothing happened to me, and I'm being happy, and I would like to have my husband and I, we are have the church, and we would like to preach the gospel in these three different places.
Thank you, ma'am. So this is on the agenda this evening, so there's no public participation for permits, which is why you're perfectly in order to speak, but we're going to take this up very, very soon. So thank you for your comments, and we will be taking that up shortly, so thank you.
I'm sorry, I write down my name there. I didn't know if I have to do that.
You're fine. Thank you so much, and we have it, and this is all very, very good. So the people's names and addresses and comments are now being submitted as part of the official record in the clerk's files. I'd like to move on to communications from mayor, city officials, and city attorney. The 2014-22 five-year financial forecast user guides and assumptions. Mr. Reinello, is he here at this point? Mr. Reinello, how long do you expect this to take? I may shift this a little bit.
Should only take a couple of minutes, 5 or 10 minutes at the most.
So let's do that right now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure. Councilors, as you know, the five-year forecast, we do this annually every year, and I have before you the five-year forecast from 23 to 27. I just want to point out a few things about the forecast. I mean, it's obviously, councils will have to review it at your own leisure, but I just wanted to go over a couple of the high points before the budget meeting Thursday night. And first of all, I just wanted to point out on the summary page, the summary of the projected general fund revenues and expenditures, you can see at the very bottom, we have the collective bargaining impact. That collective bargaining impact is based upon a 2% annual increase across the board for all of the unions. The impact for FY23 is $1 million. If we go above the 2%, that increase would, or that amount would increase accordingly. But we do have that $1 million built into the FY23 budget. And then for FY24 through 27, you can see the collective bargaining impact, of course, compounds each of those years. So it's, as you can see from our FY23, our budget is balanced, but in FY24 through 27, our budget is not balanced. I want to point out in 23, our budget is being balanced with a roughly $4.9 million free cash use. And that's mainly because of primarily because of the Oliver Police and the Leahy Debt Service, and then of course not having a tax increase for FY23. On page, I'll just point out the highlights. They're highlighted in yellow. In the revenue projection page, councilors, you can see that there was a 0% tax increase for Prop 2.5 in FY23, but in FY24 through 27, the projection does call for a 2.5% tax increase. The only increase we have in FY23 is the new growth, which we will go up the new growth approximately 1.3 million this year, and then we've projected 1.2 million in the out years. Just another thing I'd just like to point out is just the yellow column. You can see the projection percent, roughly 2% in most of the revenue projections, and also for the expenditure projections, since the collective bargaining impact is outlined in that detail line on the summary page, the projection does not have any increases in salaries on this page because it's reflected on the summary page. But the other than personal service expenditures are estimated for all the departments at 2.5%, and it's at, DPW has a higher percentage, 4.5%, because they have some long-term contracts for trash disposal and trash pickup. So those are basically the highlights I just wanted to share with the councilors, just a general overview of the 5-year forecast. It doesn't require a vote by the city council, it's just informational, but I thought it was important to have you review it before, to have it available before you vote on the budget Thursday night. I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
So this item right here, Mr. Capo, this should be going down to the Budget and Finance for a greater review?
If you'd like, it doesn't require any action by the city council, it's up to the council.
I may just do that. The
Sure.
Budget Committee may or may not decide to ask questions. So this document right here will be sent down to the Budget and Finance Committee for further review if it warrants it.
Sure.
So that's that item. Next item is under resolutions, document 222, resolutions for Louise M. Mulligan Square put on by President LaPlante and Vice President Reyes is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document number 21322, a resolution for 15-minute parking at 206 South Union Street that I put on the City Council agenda. That resolution for an ordinance change, that will be going to the Ordinance Committee. At this point, I'm going back up to matters pending a public hearing, and I'm going to see if we can try to split up at least one of the documents, and I'm going to look for some counsel from, here we go, as asked, counsel from the clerks on what to do. So I'm looking for a motion to allow the clerk to publish a public hearing for the positions that the city attorney has reviewed and provided language for as it refers to document 103A on your agenda, leaving the remaining positions to be published as 103B when that language is forthcoming from the city attorney. So I'm looking for that motion. Is there a motion? Motion made by Councilor Payano, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. The ayes have it. So that, that document is now officially split up. Here we go. Thank you. How are we doing with the rest? We're going to get to the resolutions honoring our students, our graduates here in a moment. We are just going to do a couple of other house cleaning things. I'm going to look to committee reports for at least one or two items. Document number, Budget Committee Chairman Mr. Payano looking for a committee report on document number 17722. I will wait for the clerk to find that, 17722. Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council President. So the Budget and Finance Committee met on June 15th of this year on item 177-22, which is appropriations transfer from Capital Reserves Fund to various capital project accounts totaling $1,188,045. The Budget and Finance Committee voted unanimously to send this to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I present that in the form of a motion.
Second. Motion has been made by the chairman, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion, Mr. Rodriguez.
Good evening.
Wouldn't been right to do it in a way that we have done it before as part of the capital improvement plan. I know that some of these items we have done it in the way that is being done tonight from free cash, and some others as part of the capital improvement. What was the thought behind it?
Well,
to do
this
it
year,
all.
councilors, this is the PAYGO capital money that we appropriated in last year's budget It's $1,188,045, so it's already in the budget. It just needs to go down to the council, which is this item, to actually expend it on certain projects. Last year, we did a whole capital improvement plan, of which this was part of it. We actually bonded and we did pay-go capital in the same document. Because of the Oliver School, the police station, and the Leahy School, we aren't doing a bondable capital improvement project this year. So all we have is the pay-go capital item. So that's why it's done this way this year.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. One more document, then we'll do the resolutions. Document number, Mr. Chairman, number 17822.
Thank you, Council President. The Budget and Finance Committee met on June 15th, and we voted on item 178-22, year-end transfers between departmental accounts. The City Council voted unanimously to send this to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I present that in the form of a motion.
Motion's been made and seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none. Up, Councilor Dela Cruz.
I have a question. Is this part of the budget? Or
Mr. Iannelli, would you care to address the question is whether or not this is part of the budget and how so, if it is?
No, it's not part of the budget. This is our, annually at the end of each year, we have, there's a statute in the Mass General Laws that allows us to transfer funds between departments to clean up the accounts before we close the books. And before we close the books on June 30, we like to have all the accounts with zero balances. So these entries, the year-end transfers, are transfers within departments and sometimes between departments for some of the accounts that they needed help with. So we just, we have until June 30th to record this entry, and we annually do this in front of the City Council.
But this is not going to be reflected on the new budget?
No, this is FY '22, the transfers between accounts, so we can end FY '22 without any deficit. Some departments, DPW in particular, needed a transfer between their accounts to pay for the trash bills to get them, so we can start next year clean. We won't owe anything.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mark, I have one more question. On the Group Insurance Commission Health Insurance, we have 150,000 that we're transferring from that account to the DPW, I guess, right? Does that mean that we over budget by 150,000 last year?
We think we'll have 150,000 out of that account to be able to use towards the solid waste contracts.
Is that the total amount that is extra on that account, and that is more, or this is just a good guess?
No, that's what we expected to have left over in that account, which we're not going to need. So instead of using free cash, we'd like to transfer it to DPW to pay for his trash.
So essentially, got it. I mean, just to keep up with the conversation, this is the conversation that Mark Iannelli and myself been having for quite some time now, 3 years, on the same item. But yes, I want to make sure that we keep on talking about this. 150,000 extra is going to go to DPW. Thank you.
Any further discussions on this matter? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you. At this point, I'm going to look to take off the tabled matters, document number 17019, resolutions and recognitions of Lawrence Achievers, made by Mr. Payano, seconded by Mr. Rodriguez. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? No. The ayes have it. At this point, I am delighted that we have some real stellar individuals that are here in tonight's chamber. These are individuals who have demonstrated excellence through their educational careers and are now moving on. This is the one time of year that I know that I look, and I think the council share with me how delighted we are to see people who are at the very top of what they've done in their academic careers, whether it be at one of our high schools or whether it's in our junior college. So with that, I just want to acknowledge, and we're going to do that more officially here in a second, but thank the individuals that are here this evening, congratulate them, and also thank the people who they brought with them this evening, who are special people who helped them get to where they needed to go. If there is an individual who wants to, as part of the team, I want to use that in quotes, an administrator or somebody who wants to speak, that certainly wouldn't be in order. The first person would be Kimberly Justo, and I'm asking Mr. Payano if he would be willing to go ahead and do the proclamation, the resolution.
So I have the honor and privilege of presenting this recognition, this proclamation to Miss Kimberly Justo. Miss Kimberly Justo just graduated from the Northern Essex Community College with a 3.97 GPA, and she earned her Business Transfer Associate's degree. She immigrated to the United States 4 years ago. She participated in the Lawrence Promise program, and she will be attending the best university in the country. The best one in the country, and my counselor, De Rosario, knows UMass Amherst. And, so I think it's incredible, and, it's, I am glad that I was presented this. Kimberly, as you probably can guess, I went to UMass Amherst, so you're going to be lucky enough to be going to this incredible school. I think all of us here are very proud of your achievements so far, and we're amazed at that, and we're very hopeful seeing what else you end up doing in like the next 5 or 10 years. Keep remembering your city, keep it in your heart, no matter where you go, and I know you're going to be doing some amazing things. Council President, I'd like the opportunity to see if Ms. Justo has a few words for us.
Sure. I would like to hear a little bit more about her qualifications on that resolution, if you don't mind.
So sure, Council President, I can read through it. So, whereas Kimberly Justo graduated from Northern Essex Community College with a 3.97 GPA and earned her Business Transfer Associate's degree, and whereas Kimberly immigrated to the United States 4 years ago with little English language skills, and whereas Kimberly participated in the Lawrence Promise program, and through this program her tuition fees, books, and laptops were paid for, allowing her to graduate debt-free, and whereas Kimberly will be attending UMass Amherst in the fall, where she expects to receive a degree in accounting, and whereas Kimberly will be a QuestBridge scholar, and as such her tuition, room and board, books and supplies, and travel for all 4 years will be paid for. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Lawrence City Council hereby applaud, recognize, and honor the academic and personal achievements of Kimberly Justo. Respectfully submitted by all the members of the City Council.
I'm deeply honored to receive this award. I'd like to thank the Lawrence City Council for giving me this opportunity and providing me this recognition, and also for having me this evening. I also like to thank Northern Essex Community College for always giving me and providing me with the resources that I needed to succeed in my educational journey, and also to help me continue with further education. I also like to thank to all the people that supported me during this journey and that helped me remember this unforgettable journey. Thank you.
I will ask that after you receive if you would just please stick around. We have a few more, and then we're going to recess briefly for some pictures. But at this point, I'd like to know if we're going to do it all at once. We're at the same time. I'm going to ask if Councilor Infante wouldn't mind going and for a resolution. Councilor Infante, would you take the podium? Thank you.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of giving this recognition to Pedro Rodriguez. Is he here? Hey, Pedro, how are you? How are you? Good. Pedro Rodriguez is a graduate of the Greater Lawrence Vocational School with a 4.7 GPA. I graduated from there too. Whereas Pedro earned high honors in every semester and graduated from GLTS with 9 college credits through Middlesex Community College and 3 college credits through Bridgewater State University. And whereas Pedro was part of the plumbing career program at GLTS and is OSHA certified and completed Tier 1 and Tier 2 of the Massachusetts Plumbing Apprenticeship Program. And whereas Pedro obtained his current job with the Granite Group through the Cooperative Education Program at GLTS. And whereas Pedro will attend Northern Access Community College in the fall to study accounting and will be the first member of his family to attend college. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Lawrence City Council hereby applaud, recognize, and honor the academic and personal achievements of Pedro Rodriguez. Respectfully submitted, the Lawrence City Council.
All right. First, I want to thank you all for this amazing recognition and also everything you've done for the city. Personally, I've just always, I've met some incredible people here that have helped me to get this spot today. And honestly, it's amazing, honestly, being here at this moment among you. And honestly, I'm speechless right now. I would also like to share my gratitude with my school, the Greater Lawrence Technical School, because they have provided me with everything that I could ever wanted, from being able to provide me with a job, to learning a trade, and now being able to go to my college of choice. I couldn't ask for anything more, honestly. Thank you once again.
At this point, I'm looking for Councilor Dela Cruz to provide a resolution. Councilor Dela Cruz.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here today and to give this honor to one of the persons who lives in my community, Daniela Rosario. Whereas Daniela Rosario graduated from Central Catholic High School with a 4.84 GPA and completed 8 advanced placement courses, and where Daniela earned high honors in every term and was a National Society member since her sophomore year. And Daniela was a tutor at CCHS and Lawrence Family Development Charter School, and served, participated, and led in several high school organizations. And whereas Daniela will be attending Amherst College as well, congratulations, in the fall, where she will be Questbridge Scholar, and as such will have her tuition, room and board, books and supplies, and travel covered for all 4 years now and therefore. Be it resolved that the members of the Lawrence City Council hereby applaud, recognize, and honor the academic and personal achievements of Daniela Rosario. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank the City Council for this recognition. It's very important to get Lawrence community members recognized and involved, as sometimes we get bad rep in the news and in the media. Coming from Lawrence, I went into Central Catholic, a predominantly white institution, kind of afraid because I didn't know if I had the same preparations and opportunities that students that there had all their life growing up. So for me to be able to stand out and to be able to represent my city to all those students, even though they came from better backgrounds than I did, yeah, it's just makes me proud, and it makes me proud to be here. Shows their determination. Yeah.
Thank you.
At this point, I would look for a motion to adopt these three resolutions, and then we'll go into a recess. Is there a
So
motion
moved.
to adopt? Motion made by
Second.
Councilor Pavel Payano, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. I'm now looking for I'm going to say 5 minutes. That's probably
Motion to
generous.
recess?
5-minute recess with Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Infante. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're in a 5-minute recess. I'm looking for a motion to come out of recess.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Piano, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document under Budget and Finance Committee, document number 17922. Chairman Piano?
Thank you, Council President. The Budget and Finance Committee met on June 15th, and they voted by majority vote to send item 179-22, appropriations transfer from free cash to various reserves of $6,472,982, and to send it to the full council with a favorable, the full council without a committee recommendation as a committee report.
A motion to send a committee report. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none on the committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Is there a motion?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 179-22.
Motion made by Councilor Piano, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, if Mark Mark, I would like to expand the opportunity for you to talk a little bit more about the stabilization reserve fund, so I can have more clarity on that.
Sure. The stabilization reserve fund is undesignated. It can be used for any general government purpose. We're proposing transferring from free cash $3 million into the stabilization reserve fund. To use the stabilization reserve fund, we have to come back down to the council for, just like free cash. The advantage of the stabilization reserve, we have 1.2 million in the account now, so this would bring it to 4.2 million, is we're starting to build up that stabilization reserve, which is available. We don't have to wait until free cash gets certified to make an appropriation if necessary. And also the rating agencies would like us to see our stabilization reserves. Instead of just free cash, they'd like to see in a stabilization reserve fund. So we're proposing to have a balance of 4.2 million in that account.
So that means that this money is there, and well, the difference, let me see if I'm clear. The difference between this account and the free cash account is that the free cash need to come in front of us. We need to approve the funds when we want to use it for anything else. Is that the same way with this account?
The same with this account. The difference is that free cash expires at June 30th. The stabilization reserve fund does not close at the end of the fiscal year. So we're able to, that will stay on our balance sheet until it's gone, until we use it up. So my advice to the city is to try and increase those stabilization reserve fund a little bit each year. But we still have to, anytime we use it, we still have to come down just like free cash. It just doesn't expire. And that's why the rating agencies like to see a healthy stabilization fund, a rainy day fund, if you will.
And essentially the fund, it's also in an account that not necessarily going to have any type of limitations for expenditure.
It's for just any, it can be used for any general government purpose, just like free cash.
Except for budgeting, or it could be used for budgeting and salaries?
It could be used for any purpose, any legal purpose that the community would like to spend it on. So just as free cash, it'd be used to offset some a budget deficit, if you will. This year we're using 4.9 million of free cash to balance the FY 23 budget. We could have used stabilization funds if we had it, but I expect this will be used just as we have for free cash. Periodically throughout the year, we come down for things that are not in the operating budget. We'll come down to the council and ask for. This year, we asked for some police cruisers for the police department and a few other items.
Essentially, because mostly free cash you use for one-time project. Is this different on that aspect?
It can be used the exact same way. There's no difference between the stabilization fund and free cash. As I said, the only thing that changes is that at June 30th, free cash expires and you no longer have it. You have to wait till it gets certified until usually around October, November. Stabilization, once you transfer it to the stabilization fund, that stays on the books and is available at any time. It just doesn't close.
Let me ask you, now that we're talking about free cash, stabilization account, and let me go a little farther on this. The ARPA funds, we actually certify and then that become free cash, right?
It will. When we
this
close
year?
the books this year, I expect, because we've transferred 33 million in expenditures of the general fund and transferred it to ARPA, so we'll have 30+ million in free cash approved sometime in October, November.
And that fund's gonna be because we actually did whatever we did with the ARPA fund.
That's right, and so primarily it's going to be reserved for, or going to be used primarily for debt service on the, as we're using it in the budget this year, 5 million, we're going to need those same amounts for the next several years to subsidize the Oliver, the Leahy, and the police station.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Any other discussion?
Thank you, Council President. Yanello? Sorry to make you to come back. What is the difference between the stabilization reserve fund and the stabilization reserve for litigation?
That, again, is another stabilization reserve fund. We have $70,000 in there now, and this will add $500,000 to it. In that account, in case the city had a judgment against us, we'd have $570,000 sitting in an account to be available to pay any of those judgments or claims or litigation costs. So we'll try and make some transfers into this fund over the next couple of years, try and get it over $1 million, which I think is a reasonable number for Lawrence to have in case we have any lawsuits against us.
What will happen to both stabilization money if they don't get to be used this year?
The balances will remain if we decided to get rid of the stabilization funds. We could take a vote to close the stabilization funds and have it returned back to the general fund, which would just go back into free cash. But the idea of having the stabilization funds or setting them aside, again, for the rating agencies like to see us have some money set aside for litigations, being a large municipality as we are, having a stabilization slash rainy day fund. If we add 3 million to our existing 1.2, we'll have 4.2 million set aside in the stabilization, and they like to see the city start setting aside money for a rainy day.
Any other comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Present. I would like to vote present.
Roll call vote. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Levy is absent. President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. The next document is document number 18022. Mr. Chairman.
Council President, on June 15th, the Budget and Finance Committee voted unanimously to send item 180-22 FY23 annual authorization of revolving funds to the full council with favorable recommendation. I present that in the form of a motion. Also ask for discussion.
Second. Motion has been properly made and properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to ask if I'm looking for someone from the school department, but I don't see anyone here. Okay. Council President, I'd like to see if it's possible, would it be possible to split this because I'd like to ask us to table this item for the PEG access and cable related funds, which I believe is the item that deals with the school department. But I wouldn't necessarily want to table on all of them, as my questions pertain to just that one item.
It would be in order to make a motion to essentially amend it to break it as you see fit. So what would be in your motion?
So, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to split this item and have Bellevue Cemetery Revolving Fund, Council on Aging Revolving Fund, Recreation Park Supporting Service Revolving Fund, Veterans Memorial Stadium Revolving Fund, Library Program Revolving Fund being in item A, and then PEG Access and Cable Related Fund being item B.
Second the motion.
So the motion is to split this document up. Document 180A will be Bellevue, Council on Aging, Recreation, Veterans, and Library. And 180B will be the PEG Access Board. Motion has been properly made to amend it. It's been properly seconded. Any further discussion on how we're amending it? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Go ahead, Council.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to make a motion. I think that there's some questions that we have around the PEG access and cable related funds. I'd like to make a motion that we table item 180B.
There's a motion to table document 180B. It's been properly seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. There is no discussion on a table matter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Council,
Do you want to do 180A?
Yes, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve item 180A.
Motion made to approve 180A. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion?
There's a question to Councilor Payano. We would like
Councilor
to.
Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. We would like to send correspondence to any of those two items, perhaps to one of those departments to send some information or whatever.
Sure. I mean, we can send correspondence. I think if they were here, we probably would have been able to get the answers. But like to send a motion to send correspondence to Lawrence Public Schools to send us send us a document back, sort of detailing exactly how these funds are spent. Yes.
It's currently an additional motion before the primary motion to, and this is a little awkward because it's on the second one, but to go ahead and to request that information from the school department. It's been properly seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Any discussion on what we're voting for? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now the underlying amendment, the underlying motion, which is 180A, which is there were 5 of those. And I believe the motion has been properly made and it's been properly seconded. Are there any further discussions on the Bellevue Council on Aging, Recreation, Veterans, and Library? Seeing that there's no further discussion on this matter, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 18422. Mr. Chairman.
Council President, the Budget and Finance Committee met on item 184-22 to approve the resolution for a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant awarded to the city for Phase 3 renovations to O'Connell Park, and we voted unanimously to send this to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
The motion has been made.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Councilor Rodriguez. We do have a Ms. Fink online, if that's helpful.
Whenever she's ready, I have a few questions.
She's ready, Mr. Rodriguez. Go ahead.
All right. Ms. Finn, I mean, what's I'm wondering to know What is going to be the total amount that the city of Lawrence have invested on the O'Connor Park for the last 4 years, or since the project started?
When this
The
phase is
information-
done, we will have invested, I would say, close to $3 million in O'Connell Park.
Do you mind sending us a detailed document with that information?
Certainly, I can get that for you. I am on vacation, so it won't be until next week.
No, I mean, doesn't have to be now, but I mean, I'll highly appreciate that information.
Is there any other comments, Mr. Payano?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank Ms. Fink that is on vacation, is online here with us. I appreciate that level of service to the job in your community. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Excellently said, Mr. Payano. Thank you so much. Any other councilors who wish to comment on this matter? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Fink. The next document is document number 19122.
Council President, the City Council met on June 15th, and we voted unanimously to send item 191-22 in order to expend grant funds earmarked from DCR for additional work at the rail trail of $500,000. We voted to send this unanimously to the full council without recommendation, and we were looking to hear at the council level a presentation from Mr. McCarthy, who's present here today and has sent us some information through email.
Motion's been made. Is there a second on the committee report? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion? Do you want to hear the presentation now, Mr. Payano?
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, councilors. And first, I'd like to apologize for I was unable to make the budget committee meeting last week due to some personal issues at the home. The project that is in front of you is the first phase of the much heralded rail trail project. It's a 1.1 mile, 12.5 acre redevelopment of the rail line from the Manchester Street, from Merrimack Street to Manchester Street in the Methuen line. I sent out a flyer today with some bullet points with some of the information about the project, and I just wanted to let you also know that come July, we're going to be having public hearings on the design of the trail itself, but the $500,000 that was earmarked was funds that are coming from the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan from the federal government. These funds were secured by our state representative, Frank Moran, for use as part of the preparation for this project. And these funds are going to be used for the cleaning, the clearing of invasive species, the cutting down of many of the trees along the area, and elimination of a lot of the garbage and encampments that I think plague this area. I was lucky enough to have a nice site walk with many of the board members here. You've seen the conditions on that board, on that trail. The whole area between, I believe, pretty much from Canal Street all the way to Manchester Street has become a real destitute area with a lot of areas where people can hide and do acts and other things that we don't want to talk about. Both the fire department and the police department has joined us on this. They are big supporters of this project because what it's going to do is it's going to clear up the sight lines along it. And I think anytime you bring visibility to an area, a secluded area such as this, it makes the things run better. We had a lot of outreach and talked to a lot of the neighbors. I think every person that we've spoken to is thrilled that this is finally coming to fruition. And again, like I said, this is the first step towards this. It's what's going to be almost more than a $20 million project. But this is step one. So and again, we hope it's supported this, and we do believe this will be taken, this will go out to bid in the next month or two, and we are hoping to have local teams of landscapers or workers conduct this work. So that's the goal of this administration.
Thank you very much. I just have one question. And this was the tour that we went on several months ago, correct? We walked along there. The only question I have is that there were certain spots where there was encroachments going on. Can you speak to what's going to be done regarding the encroachments?
Yes, we've already done some outreach. We've talked to some of the abutters. Some people were aware that they were doing this and did this with the knowledge that they're going to have to move when the rail trail's done. Some were doing this more or less out of the defensive approach to clear out the land around their homes because of the encampments. And some people were doing this to make their yards larger. And at the end of the day, the property is still owned by the MBTA. To them, anybody encroaching is a trespasser. But they're going to let us, the city, work with the neighbors and the abutters to try and come to some kind of accommodation on what's the appropriate manner to handle this. We want to make sure that we have boundaries in area that will allow the public to use this as an amenity, as a recreational use. For the kids that can travel from the charter school to the playground without having to walk in the public streets and stuff, and know that they're safe. So I think that's the most important thing. Like I said, those areas of encroachment, we've already had communications with 90% of the people who have been encroaching, and they said they're either aware of it or unaware, but they acknowledge that the city's got the right to use that land for this development.
Any questions for Mr. McCarthy? This is just, right now, we're just dealing with the committee report. Any discussion? See none on the committee report only. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Piano, is there another motion?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this item.
Motion's been made to approve this document, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
The next document is document number 19622. Mr. Chairman?
Council President, on June 15th, the Budget and Finance Committee met, and we voted unanimously to send to the full council with favor recommendation item 196-22, which is retained earnings transfer of $555,000 from the airport's retained earnings, which has been certified by the DOR to be used for capital improvement projects. And I present that in the form of a motion.
The motion has been made.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Present. I said present.
Oh, present, my apologies. Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Levy is absent. Counselor De La Cruz.
Present.
Counselor Piano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Next, under Ordinance and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, I'm looking for the Vice Chair to give the committee reports on that. Councilor De La Cruz, are you the Vice Chair of the Ordinance Committee? Who is the Vice? Well, this is what we typically do. We look to our more senior individual, Mr. Rodriguez. Would you be willing to give the committee reports, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any of the members of the committee that are available before I get there? There you go. You're
Hi, Council President. The Ordinance Committee met and discussed item 18322, and they voted favorably and to send this item to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order the public hearing.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Rodriguez?
Item, item 18722, the ordinance committee met and discussed this item and sent it to the full council with a favorable recommendation. This item is item 18722, which is the annual community resource fair that Campanile Common for the date 8/10/22 at 11 a.m., finishing up at 5 p.m. Rain day will be the 8/17/22, and it was put together by Vilma Martina Dominguez, which is here present today. It was sent out to the federal recommendation, and would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Motion's been made. Is there a
Second.
second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 19022.
Yes, item 19022. The ordinance committee again met to discuss this item. It is an ordinance adopting and enacting the new code for the city of Lawrence, Massachusetts. It was put together by Council President Michael Plant. It was sent out to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. I would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Motion made. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Pabel Piano. Discussion? See none. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 19222.
Yes, item 19222 is the ordinance committee met and discussed this item, it was sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. This item is for the Christian rally, Cornish Park. Out there is on 6/25 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Harding Park, Lawrence Street is going to be July 16, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Gordon Park on Province Street is going to be on August 6th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and 30th Smith Street. Yes, okay. And it was put together by Jorge Calon. It was sent out to the forward recommendation. I would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rodriguez, seconded by Councilor Piano. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Are we voting for a public hearing here, or it's to approve?
This is a permit, so no public hearings on a permit. I just wanted a couple of things just to, so we're clear. That 30 Smith Street was removed. It's a private residence. There's no permits for that. And the second thing is that I just want to thank the individuals who are here. There's no need to speak on this, because I think we're going to vote in favor, but thank you for already speaking on this issue. So I think we're all set.
Yeah, one more question, one thing.
Do you want me to say something? Go ahead, sir, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what
welcome.
you guys are doing.
Thank you.
It is extremely important for us to have this type of event. But I also need to say that there is a song event, religious event, and other type of event that they have a speaker, and when they're using the speaker according to our ordinances, the speaker needs to be towards the people that you actually have on that moment, not necessarily the general public. People probably gonna listen to it, and if they're willing to and wishing to, they're gonna go towards you, and they're gonna be able to listen to the message. I personally listen to the message, but there is other people that not necessarily are willing to do so, and we need to respect that.
Sure.
Essentially, that's basically, we've been having those issues throughout the city, and with all due respect, I think that it's fair to say it and clarify that. Even though it's a religious event, it is important to clarify it.
Well, we know about that, and we understand that people, not everybody agree with the message, but we're gonna be
for a short time there, and it's going to be a message to lift the spirit of that many in our community need to hear. Anybody with spiritual need, that's the people that we want to reach. And if anybody get upset or something, we're gonna, ask for forgiveness and try to drop the volume if that's the case. But we're gonna take that in consideration. I work into, and I don't like to have people, with too much noise if it's unnecessary. But we're going to try to keep everything in a decent volume and with the right message for the need that we have in the community. You're welcome.
Mr. Piano.
Thank you, Council President. So what I'd say, one thing to note is they might agree with the message, right? So it's not necessarily they don't agree, that they might agree, but it might be. So one of the things that I've been learning, especially being in the council, is that not everybody works the same hours, and not everybody works Monday to Friday. There are people that sometimes, the times where they go to sleep might be, 3 o'clock to like 7, or 8, 9. So like everybody has just different hours. So I think it's important, and I say this not just in this scenario, but for anybody that's doing, types of events. There's always a question that they feel like, people don't like it because they don't like the music that I'm playing, or they don't like whatever the sound is. Like, no, they might love listening to whatever music you're playing or whatever it is that you're saying. It just so happens that at that time, it's just not the right time for them. So I think what Councilor Rodriguez is mentioning is just being cognizant to that, as we're giving you permission to use the park and we give you permission to use speakers and all that, that it's for the use of the people that are there in the audience, not necessarily folks that are far away. So, but I want to thank you for, I think it's difficult organizing any types of events, and there are multiple events that you guys are doing. So thank you for doing this and creating an opportunity for others in the cities to get together and do something positive. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I should have mentioned from the beginning that we like to go around and knock the doors, as telling people that we're going to be having those rally at a specific time. That way we can measure like a thermometer to see who's like the idea, who doesn't like the idea, and to avoid those situations.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. The last ordinance is document 19322. Mr. Rodriguez.
19322 is an update on the city stormwater management ordinance, chapter 20.03. It was put together by Milagros Puello. And this is to order a public hearing. I would like to make that as a form of a motion.
Motion's been made to order public hearing, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, for stepping in. We do appreciate that. Under withdrawals, this also came under the ordinance committee. Is there anyone willing to make a motion to withdraw number 18822?
Yes, I'll make the motion to withdraw, but I would like to discuss this a little bit more before we withdraw it.
There's a motion to withdraw number 18822. Is there a second? And this is Neighborhood Block Party on June 25th on Essex and Nesmith. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, you already made the motion.
I mean,
I need a second. Second by Councilor Piano. Discussion, Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, I'm wondering to understand the thought behind as of why we don't need this item to be in front of us. I mean, I know that you talked to George, Ms. George, and you explained to her, so what was the thought behind it?
There's no ordinances that require the use of a street for that, only a park of some sort, but a street, it's a police department, gives the permits at the city council. Road race. Any further questions on this matter to withdraw? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Or is there anything under tabled matters? Anybody wishes to take it up this evening? Counselors, I'm just looking for a little bit of housekeeping. I just want to put that resolutions for the achievers back onto tabled matters. I'm looking for document 17019. Is there a motion to return that back to the tabled
So
matters?
moved.
Motion made by Counselor Rodriguez, seconded by Counselor Pavel Piano. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Council President,
Counselor Piano.
I'd like to take item 77-20 out of tabled matters.
There's a motion to take document 7720 off the table matters. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion.
So,
The document number, we're at there, document 7720 is an appropriation transfer of resident legal assistance fund put on by Mayor Rivera, March of 2020.
Yeah, so.
Discussion?
Yes, discussion, Council President. So I'd like to take this item out of tabled matters just to make a motion to withdraw it. It was put on by 2 mayors ago, over 2 years ago, for, we're in a different administration now.
Any further discussion on this matter? Hearing and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Piano?
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw item 77-20.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Piano, seconded by Mr. Del Rosario. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Council President,
Councilor De La Cruz?
yes, I would like to take item 81-20 out of table.
There's a motion to take document 8120 off of tabled matters. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Piano. Discussion?
It is no on William Street at the corner of Josephine Street. Hasn't been changed. There's no sign that it says no parking. And this family is still having people park on the sidewalk. Would you send that for the public hearing?
So there's a motion right now to take this document and properly second. I'm just asking the clerk, trying to get a status of where we are. Has there already been a public hearing? Has the public hearing been dispensed with? And I don't know the answer to that right now.
I can't record.
And so, if you. So that's what we're looking for. So, this is the motion to simply get it off the table. Hearing any further discussions on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank
What we're trying to find out, Councilor De La Cruz, is where are we in the process? If we can find that out for you, we can know what the proper motion could be. Counselor, it does not appear as though a public hearing has been ordered. It may be acceptable at this point if you wish to order. It's already. Let me back up for 1 second. There was a motion to order a public hearing. Then somebody made a motion to table. That's where we are right now. Now you just took it off the table, so we have that now. So the motion before us is a motion to order a public hearing. That's the motion we are at right now. So at this point, many of us, including the president, doesn't remember the discussion way back when or the reasons why he had that. We have the option right now to go ahead and to make a vote for the public hearing. It hasn't happened yet. So that's there. But I'm looking at, but there you go. So is there any further discussion on this matter?
Should I make another motion?
You don't need to because there's already a motion on the, before us to order a public hearing. No further discussion on this matter, so the question is ordering a public hearing. All in favor of order a public hearing, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Rodriguez. Before we go there, is there any other tabled matters before we go back to old business? Any other tabled matters? Mr. Rodriguez wants to go back to old business. Go ahead, Mr. Rodriguez.
Council President, during the discussion of the budget of 2022, when we discussed the budget for the city council, we actually asked you to allow us to spend some money, and that way we don't have to go to other departments, and you actually sent an email in regard to the budget for the city council for 2022, allowing us to spend $500 for this year. Everybody received the email. I did exactly what you said on the email, and you reject the invoice. I think that we got to be clear with this as a city, as a council. We have to have one only and one line of thought, and you send an email saying that we can actually do that for this year. Now the invoice was rejected. I think that we got to be clear.
Is there a motion to take document 16922 out of old business?
I make the motion.
Motion's been made, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you. As I continue with the conversation, during that email that you sent this year for the city council budget, you allow us, every council, to spend $500 on that. All of a sudden, the invoice was rejected. I guess that I was the only councilor so far. Since I spoke with other councilors, they haven't done the send. They were going to do the send as of actually proceeding with the purchase. But now it is another version of what we need to do. Can you please clarify as of how you want to spend that money that's still on the budget for 2020 for fiscal year 2022?
Councilor Rodriguez, do you have the email that I sent to you? Can you please pull it up?
I do not have it in front of me. If you have it, feel free to read it.
I don't have it in front of me, but I know that I sent it. You referenced it. If you know what date that was sent on, I could find it, and I can certainly read it again.
I do not have it with me. I don't have it right now, but you send it right after the next day of the I think it was the same day as you discussed the budget a couple of weeks ago.
If any other counselor has the email, that would be really helpful, and I think that we will, this is a lot about not much, and I think we're going to get to a good spot. We're all, if not all, most if not all counselors are going to be in a good position on this. And there's a very good reason as to why I wrote the email the way that I did. It is actually to protect the city council.
Are we allowed to spend the $500 or no?
Councilor Rodriguez, you brought it up based on the email. I think it's important that we pull that email up.
You have the email?
I do not have the email in front of me. No, I do not. But you brought it up. I wasn't expecting this evening. I do not have the email.
I wasn't expecting you rejecting the $500 expenditure.
Councilor Rodriguez, if you have the email, that would be great. Does anybody else have the email? And just either read it or tell me what date it is, and I'll be happy to read it.
All right, so June 1st, 2022. So, I mean, I can just read it. June 1st, 2022. So I'll just read this. The key elements are the following. Each counselor can earmark up to $500 for operating supplies. Like any other counselor expenditure, the purchase must be approved by the council president. The invoice for payment must be processed by Teresa and Munis by June 24th. The counselor would have to provide the proper paperwork to Teresa.
So through you, Mr. President, is that means that when we make the purchase through Teresa, we're not supposed to use Teresa? We need to ask you first?
Yes.
And then get it approved through you
Yes,
first?
that's
We
exactly.
always do business through Teresa, and you you actually approve it or not approve it. If you deny it just because I didn't tell you, that's being arrogant. I'm sorry that I tell you straight up.
There are no personal offenses to any city councilor, including the council president, would be in order this evening, or any evening.
Well said, Council President. Knock it harder.
Council President.
Yes.
I think that there are several counselors that have expressed the idea of ordering ahead of time and putting the $500 with this guy that does the plaques. I am confused as to whether or not that is in order or not, because I think that that's what you had implied that we were going to do. Yes, of course. Go ahead, Council
So
President.
thank you so much. So we're doing something new. The council president heard what members wished to do and was looked upon with favor, because I think this is a great idea that we can be able to provide that for. The council president ultimately, no matter who it is responsible for the expenditures of the office, because the council president is the individual that signs off on all the invoices there. When we're going through this, I made perfectly clear that there is a lot of things, including plaques and things of that nature, that would be acceptable. But in order to be able to go ahead and do that, there were things that would not be acceptable. For example, things that would be for your personal, you're giving things away to people, maybe campaign-related stuff. There are certain things that are there. And so to protect the city council as a whole, that we just run that by. Now, yes, plaques that say something to honor somebody, that's perfectly in order. But I needed to treat everybody the same and not say, yeah, carte blanche. If somebody said, yeah, we want to do a plaque for something because I expect that we're going to be doing some resolutions, there's some things I want to do, the answer is yes. But I wanted to be able to have that as a manager of the budget, to be able to make sure. I think we're going to be okay with a lot of the things that I've seen. But I asked under these rules, like any other rules, because it's going to be my signature that's okaying this, that we just make sure that we have a conversation and say, look, I'm looking to do these plaques, I'm putting $500, and I'm going to say, yeah, go for it, 100%. That's not a problem. Just make sure it's not campaign related. Just make sure it's for proper stuff. Use your judgment, right? Use your discretion. I'm good to go. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why I did it. It's I think, a reasonable thing, and I don't think I'm looking to put a stop on anybody, but I just want to make sure that we did things a new way the first time, the right way, so nobody gets in trouble. Nobody gets in trouble.
Thank you, Council President. So is the idea that, because I will say, it sounds like I did it the wrong way. So is the idea that we would say exactly what that plaque is? Okay.
Because you don't know what the plaque is going to say, but you will probably say something. I can foresee us doing some things coming up in my district or in the city. I like to do something for them. And I'm going to say, I need some plaques. I'm like, sure.
Okay.
What's the number? Sure.
All right. Whatever the format is, I want to put $500 to this guy that does the plaques, right? So for purposes of like, I don't know, maybe join a business person, who knows? No campaign stuff, no, nothing like that. Is that allowed?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the process? Because I think maybe we don't understand what and it's new, fine. What is the process to get that approved? Like what? So I'm doing it. I did it wrong. What should I be doing?
It's easy to cure.
Okay.
So the issue here is I'm going to put some money for a plaque, $500. I'm going to be doing that. Sure, you got the process. We're going to be good to go. We're going to sign off on it. The invoice is going to be signed and ready to go. It's as simple as that. I think we're making really a big deal
Mr. President.
out of something that I think we're going to get to that point. So yeah, there's a little bit of a process, but not much. But again, it's there to protect not only the counselors, but to the council president as well, who is ultimately signing off on these things.
Through you, Mr. President.
Mr. Piano has the floor.
It sounds like perhaps, and maybe right now is not the forum, but it sounds like cause I'm still a little confused, right? So it sounds like the process needs to be worked out a little bit better. So let me just put a hypothetical. All right, so I want, and I'm sorry, right? This is a little complicated. $500, I want to be able to have this jewelry, this plaque store, right? Have $500 there, so that way I can use it in the next couple of months, right? So I am going to ask them to invoice me $500. Okay, so they invoice me $500. I take that invoice and I give it to you. So they give it to Teresa, who gives to you.
Well, I already had a conversation, so I'm expecting this.
Okay. All right. So the key is to let you know the purpose of what we're doing. Okay, I got it.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Oh, thank you so much, Council President. Essentially, what Mr. Payano just described was exactly what I did. The only difference here is that I didn't have the conversation with you. Exactly. So I think that we know better than this. We know that when it comes to public funds, we cannot use that for personal gain.
Counselor, you can only speak for yourself. You can't speak for we, so just say yourself, please.
Well, I'm talking about my situation. We know better than that, and I say we because I like to include everybody that want to be that related to this statement. We know better than this. This is not to use it for personal gain or political purpose. It was what Pavel described, Mr. Payano described, or Councilor Payano described, was exactly what I did. I did it through Teresa, and if you have any questions as of what that's going to be used, if you have questions about it, I mean, obviously, during the budget discussion, that was one of the items that get brought up. And as a matter of fact, I actually pay myself for a placard in front of you at the Teresa's office. And you ask me, what is that money for? And I say, to pay for a placard with my own money. I have no issues with that. $500 is not going to get me in trouble. If I get in trouble for $500, trust me. That's not it. That's not, it is frustrated. It is frustrated that we were actually going through this process. None of the councilors did move around that. I talked to Councilor Payano. I said, listen, the deadline is coming up. Are you going to use it for $500? He actually went through the same process I did, and I guess we both did it wrong because we didn't ask you at the end of the day. But guess what? I'm formally asking you now to please approve the $500 for placards because that's what they're going to use it for the next couple of months. If you don't want to, approve it, that's not a problem. I keep on paying for it like I have for the last 6 years. I have no issues with that. I get $15,000 every year, and some of that money, most of that money, I use it for this purpose, not for political gain, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, my campaign owes me a lot of money, and is well displayed on the website. For $500, we're not going to get in trouble. At least I say we, because there is a lot of people that are related to this comment, but it is what it is. Please allow the office of Councilor Rodriguez to spend the $500 on placards just like I requested. That's a formal permission. For a formal ask for permission.
So you don't need to do this in a public setting, but since you did, that's not going to be a problem. Although I don't think we need to take public time to be able to do this, but apparently we feel like we need to do this publicly, which is, I guess, it's okay that all the councilors want to do this publicly, which is fine. I have no problems. I also want to remind, and I just hope that the councilors can understand that the council president is truly trying to work with the council to try to provide the tools, whether it's things that are on, whether it's the tours or whether it's items or whatever it is, that there's this underlying desire to really provide the council with the tools. This is the first time that any council president has ever done something like this. So this is a new situation, and we're trying to work through it. And there may be some snags, as there always are, but a little patience as we go through it would be accelerated. And I just hope that the counselors can understand that it's not because this is a power trip by any stretch of the imagination, but rather, it protects, I believe, counselors as well as the council president, rather than writing, say, yeah, whatever, that we have that one modicum, just to make sure we're on the same page. So someone says to me, so you gave the okay, you don't know what they're spending it for? I'm like, well, you know, we can get past that. And I'm letting the counselors know I'm going to do whatever I can to try to make your jobs easier, provide whatever tools you need to get to where you want to go. So Councilor Rodriguez, in a very public setting, then the answer is yes. Councilor De La Cruz.
Thank you, Council President. What's going to happen with my $500 then?
So here's how this works. We have to the end of this particular week.
$500 per?
Yes, Councilor. Okay. Councilor, we have till the end of this week to, if there is under office supplies, if there is something within the rubric of office supplies that could help us collectively do our jobs better, we have the option to go ahead and doing that, which is what that email stated. So this is new. This has never really been done before that I can ever recall ever seeing this opportunity. So, but if you have something that you think that's going to make you do your job that's city council related, then through the council, there's an opportunity to do that this year. So, and that's what some of the councilors are doing. Some councilors believe that to help them do their jobs better, that perhaps the acquisition of some plaques to provide to constituents noteworthy for whatever the reasons are would help them do their job better, building trust, relationships, whatever it is that's that's an office supply to make them do their job better. That's what this is about. One person may want plaques, another person may want some special stationery with their name for thank you notes or something like that. There's several different things that are on there, but there are things that you can't, that would be beyond that would not pass the straight face test. For example, if somebody wanted to say, vote for me, I'm running for re-election, and they want the city to pay for that, would be wrong. Now, councilors seem to think that that goes without saying. I'm putting myself in that position where I'm saying, you know something? I made it clear to counselors, so if there's ever a question in the future about what happened, I made sure that in my position that we were clear. I do not expect counselors to abuse us. I don't want to make that. I'm just trying to make sure that, and I have a lot of trust and confidence in the people around this table. I really do. But I think it's important that I make sure that, I'm going to repeat myself, that some things are said so that it protects you and it protects me. And that's all. And I hope that you can appreciate that. Any other councilors who wish to speak on this matter? I'm looking for a motion to table this matter. Motion made
Second.
by Councilor Rodriguez, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. If we're done with the table matters, we'll go into new business. And just the clerk is reminding us all that Thursday night is the special meeting for the budget.
Council President.
Yes.
Since you did that reminder, just want to make sure that all the councilors know that at the budget meeting, you should bring your book with you. Another one is not going to be provided, and any other materials that you think that you might need for the meeting. Hope to see you all bright and early.
Very good. Under new business, document
Yes, sir.
19822, order to expend grant funds, Land and Water Conservation Fund, grant EOEEA and National Park Services at $595,000 for renovations of O'Connell Park. That's going to the Budget Committee. Document 19922, order to expend grant funds, Essex Company Community Foundation Summer Grant Program at $10,000 is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 20122, Feast of the Three Saints from September 2nd to the 4th on Common Street. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 20222, the Vitra Health Fair at the Campagnon Common. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 20322, Jopea Kids Day on 7/24/22 on Campagnon Common is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 20422, Jasmine's Baby Shower at the Kennedy on August 6th at the Kennedy Community Park. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 20522, order to expend grant funds, Essex Company Community Foundation for Greater Lawrence Summer Programs, $6,000. That is going to the Budget Committee. 20622, a home rule petition to provide relief for police officer Carl Farrington, which I put on the City Council agenda. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 20722, evangelizing, sharing of the gospel, Campagnon Common, June 9th, June 16th, June 19th, June 26th, August 13th, August 27th is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 20822, discussion on ordinance chapter 15.14 conflicts. That is going to, by former City Council President Modesto Maldonado. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. 20922, Sergeant Johanny Pachada Memorial Mural put on by Vice President Stella Reyes and myself, as well as Guy Terry Kelly. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 21022, request to post, advertise, and fill position of Community Development Director is going to the, that is going to the Personnel Committee. Document 21122, acceptance of funds from Mass Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development on Island Street Improvement Project, $200,000, Budget Committee. 21222, acceptance of funds from Mass Development Finance Agency Site Readiness Program, Merrimack Paper Demolition and Remediation Project, $750,000. It's going to the Budget Committee. The 21522, the 38th Annual Bread and Roses Labor Day Heritage Festival, Campagnon Common on September 5th is going to the Ordinance Committee. 21622, promotion of Summer Biblical School, Kennedy Community Park, July 17th is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 21722, Farmers Market, Campagnon Common, Wednesdays through October 29th is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 21822, Preach the Word of God, Campagnon Common, August 13th is going to the Ordinance Committee. Next page. Let's go through the, so we have a special meeting on Thursday. Budget and Finance Committee besides that?
Next week's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Oh, no, that's for Budget and Finance.
Personnel, you have one item.
So personnel, I'm hearing Tuesday, 6:30.
Nothing on housing? Ordinance Committee. You typically have it on, was it Tuesday nights? Tuesdays, so that would be, what day is that? Tuesday the 28th, 7 o'clock, Ordinance Committee. Public Safety Committee? Nothing, I don't think there's anything else. So motion, I think, is there anything else? I don't think there is anything else. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.